I ordered a housekeeping bot to make my life easier. Instead, they sent me a living, breathing man, an incubus, to be exact. With a tail and an appetite that could never be satisfied, he wore me to a frazzle, so I took my friend's advice and sent him back. But then I saw the security footage of him shivering and curled up in a cold logistics warehouse. Against my better judgment, I drove through the night to get him back. The night I brought him home, he buried his face in the crook of my neck, his breath hot and searing against my skin. My owner, who touched you? His cold, scaled tail coiled around my waist like a python, the sharp tip pressing against the hollow of my throat. Tell me, he whispered, can anyone else feed my owner the way I can? The delivery guy was panting as he set the man-sized box down at my door. Mom, what in the world did you order? This thing weighs a ton. A housekeeping bot, I said casually. The latest high-tech model. After he left, I tore open the box. I wasn't met with the gleam of metal I expected, but with a man curled up in packing foam, completely naked, and attached to him was a long black scaled tail, which was twitching unconsciously against the cardboard. I was stunned. I immediately whipped out my phone, snapped 3 pictures of the box's contents, and fired them off to customer service. Care to explain this? I ordered a fully automated cleaning bot, and you sent me a male escort? A freak with a tail, no less. Is this human trafficking or some kind of Resident Evil experiment? Customer service replied in seconds. Dear customer, you've received our newest model, the Bionic Domestic Companion. He not only cleans and cooks, but also warms your bed and keeps you company. He's fully featured. You've hit the jackpot. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Jackpot my ass. I want a refund. The typing indicator flickered for a long time. Dear, this is a special prize from our mystery box promotion. All sales are final once opened. Besides, he's already imprinted on you. He won't survive if you send him back. I was about to unleash a storm of curses when the man in the box stirred. He slowly sat up, long black hair cascading over his face. When his unfocused eyes found me, they glowed with an eerie violet light. Those weren't human pupils. He stared at me, his nostrils flaring as if he'd caught a scent. The next second, he lunged. That slick, cold tail wrapped around me instantly, tightening its grip. Hungry, he opened his mouth, revealing sharp fangs, and nuzzled against my neck. Terrified, I kicked him away. He barely flinched, seeming not to feel the pain at all. A strange flush crept across his pale face. So fragrant, I scrambled into my bedroom and locked the door behind me. My hands shook as I sent a voice message to customer service. This thing is going to eat me. I'm calling the cops. I'm suing you. A series of bowing and pleading emojis flooded my screen. Please don't. He's an incubus. He doesn't want to eat your flesh. Just stay calm. Give him a 3-day trial. Just a little something to eat is all he needs. I'm begging you. From the other side of the door came the sound of nails scratching against wood, followed by the man's low, desperate plea. Owner, open the door. I'm so hungry. I spent the whole night huddled in my bedroom. The sounds from the living room only died down as dawn broke. Clutching a can of pepper spray, I cautiously opened the door. The living room was a disaster. The incubus was lying motionless at the foot of the sofa, his tail limp on the carpet, its scales dull and lifeless. Was he dead? I poked his side with the handle of a broom. Hey, no response. I poked him again. He rolled over. His face was ashen, his lips cracked and peeling. Only the faint rise and fall of his chest told me he was still alive. I grabbed my phone and messaged customer service. What do I feed him? Raw meat? Cooked? Saliva, sweat, blood? Anything from your body is his energy source. What kind of sick design is that? I want to return him. Now. Immediately. Customer service started laying it on thick. Dear, the return process is very complicated, and in his current state, no courier would even take him. Please, just do a good deed. Even a single drop of saliva will help him recover. Saving a demon's life is like a million karma points. I swear. The man on the floor suddenly convulsed. The tip of his tail curled pathetically, brushing against my calf in a silent plea. My biggest weakness has always been my soft heart. I couldn't just watch him die in my living room. I went to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and took a sip. Kneeling in front of him, I cupped his chin. He had one of those devastatingly beautiful faces. Even on the verge of death, his unnatural beauty was breathtaking. I closed my eyes, leaned in, and transferred the water from my mouth to his. The moment our lips touched, he snapped awake. The man who'd been as limp as a corpse suddenly opened his eyes, his violet-slitted pupils flaring with light. His hand clamped around the back of my head. His tongue swept through my mouth, greedily, desperately, taking everything I had to give. I tried to push him away, but his strength was immense. The coppery tang of blood filled my mouth before he finally, reluctantly, pulled away. A thin strand of saliva connected our lips. He let out a satisfied sigh. Thank you for the meal, owner. I wiped my mouth, gagging. Get lost. Stay away from me. It was as if he didn't understand a word I said. To keep him from starving to death in my apartment, I was forced into the role of his feeder, but I had my limits. This was a one-time thing. Absolutely no repeats. I pointed to a glass on the table. From now on, you drink from my used glasses, or eat my leftovers. His name was Silas. At my words, his beautiful eyes instantly dimmed. His tail drooped, sweeping listlessly across the floor. But that's not much energy. Take it or leave it. Starve for all I care. My face was a cold mask as I tossed him one of my old t-shirts. Put this on, and stop parading around naked. Silas looked wounded, but he obeyed, pulling on the shirt to cover his dangerously alluring body. Except for the tail. The jeans I gave him didn't have a hole, so his tail was uncomfortably coiled up at his waist, creating a conspicuous bulge. Over the next few days, I had to admit, he was useful. He handled all the chores, and his cooking was better than a 5-star chef's. He was also incredibly perceptive. A slight frown from me, and he'd know whether I needed a glass of water or just some quiet. If it weren't for that tail, which was constantly trying to cross a line, I might have actually started to accept him. One Saturday night, I was on the couch watching a movie when I felt something brush against my ankle. Something cool and smooth. I looked down. Silas was kneeling kneeling on the rug, diligently wiping down the coffee table. But at some point, his tail had snaked its way out of his jeans. Like a nimble serpent, it was slithering up my ankle, already inside my pant leg. Goosebumps erupted all over my skin. "What do you think you're doing?" Silas looked up, the picture of innocence, but the corners of his eyes were tinged with a seductive blush. "Owner, my tail itches." "Then go scratch it on a wall. Why are you rubbing it on me?" "Only my owner's warmth can soothe it." He crawled closer, his voice so soft it was almost liquid. "Owner, will you help me wash it? It's so dirty between the scales. It's really uncomfortable." I stared at his gleaming black tail. He had a point. He'd been dragging that thing all over the apartment for days. God knows what kind of germs were on it. I'm a bit of a clean freak, and the thought of where that tail had just been made my skin crawl. "Get in the bathroom." The bathroom was thick with steam. Wearing rubber gloves and holding a scrub brush, I went to town on that tail. "Ah, gently, owner." Silas braced his hands against the wall, his body arched like a bow. Sweet thick moans escaped his throat. "Keep it down. One more peep out of you and I'll chop that thing off." I scrubbed harder, the bristles scraping harshly against his scales. He trembled more violently, his knees going weak until he almost collapsed. The look he gave me over his shoulder was shimmering with unshed tears. It wasn't pain, it was pure bliss. "Owner so rough." I couldn't take it anymore. I threw the shower head at him. "Pervert, wash it yourself." I fled the bathroom as if escaping a fire. After that night, Silas became even clingier, but I kept my distance, even starting to seriously consider sending him back for good. That Friday, my company had a team-building event. I drank too much and got home late. When I pushed the door open, the apartment was dark, but the air was thick with a sweet, cloying scent, so potent it was suffocating. The entire place felt like a furnace. "Silas?" In the moonlight filtering through the window, I saw piles of clothes in the living room. My clothes, lingerie, jackets, nightgowns, all heaped into a massive nest. In the center of the nest, a dark shape was trembling violently. The alcohol haze vanished. I fumbled my way toward it. "What the hell are you doing?" Before I could get close, the shadow shot up. A wave of intense heat hit me, throwing me back onto the sofa. Silas was on top of me. His skin was scorching, like a branding iron, flushed an unnatural, feverish red. Sweat dripped from his hair onto my face. His violet eyes were dilated, devoid of reason, filled with nothing but a raw, overwhelming desire. "Owner," he gasped, his voice a ragged rasp, like sandpaper on wood. His hands pinned my wrists. I struggled. "Let me go. You're burning up. Do you have a fever? I'll get you some medicine." "Human medicine won't work." He buried his face in my neck, inhaling my scent like a man starved, his teeth grazing my pulse point. "Silas, snap out of it." I tried to knee him in the stomach, but his tail coiled around my legs with effortless strength. The scales, now bristled and sharp, scraped against the sensitive skin of my inner thighs, sending a jolt of sharp pain and dizzying pleasure through me. My phone had fallen onto the rug. Its screen lit up. Just then, a series of messages from customer service finally came through. "Hey, by my calculations, your incubus should be entering his heat cycle. Whatever you do, don't let him go hungry. An incubus in heat without enough energy to stabilize him will go feral. Remember, at this stage, saliva won't be enough. You need a deeper exchange." My mind went blank. Deeper? How much deeper? Before I could process it, Silas ripped open the front of my blouse. Buttons scattered across the floor with a series of sharp clicks. He lifted his head. The face that usually played cute and obedient was now twisted into a mask of raw, savage lust. The tip of his tail slithered up my waist, heading for the most dangerous territory. "Owner, since you refused to feed me properly." His smile was wicked, predatory. "I'll just have to take it myself." The cold tip of his tail pressed against the thin fabric of my underwear.